Jim Carrey is allegedly gone, and this is why. I want you to take a look at when he spoke the truth and when I believe he paid the ultimate price for it.
Who remembers this? I remember this. I remember this. Such a weird gesture.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what that is. I have no idea. You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know. You don't know. All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah. What is it? Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It's the secret symbol of the loop, and you're part of it, and it's the all-mocking tongue.
I remember this episode. I remember this.
I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on. You know, they get out there in the woods in a circle. They decide these things, and you know,
Bohemian Grove.
Look at them. It's hilarious.
This was a skit he did on the Jimmy Kimmel Show in November 2014, and it had people like me standing up in our seats cheering because for the first time, the truth and what was going on was being recognized. And he did it perfectly. He did it in the form of humor and satire. So he couldn't quite tell what was going on, but it doesn't matter. He planted that seed in front of people of truth, and it has grown. He paid the ultimate price when this happened. This was his on and off girlfriend from 2012.
Yes, and she died. She died.
She was a makeup artist.
I think they said she committed suicide.
She was beautiful. They had a very volatile relationship where they would get together, they would have big arguments, and they would break up several times and then reconcile. However, September of 2015, Catriona passed away right after, once again, she and Jim had broken up. And allegedly, it was because she overdid it on substances. Jim Carrey was obviously devastated and heartbroken. He went to the funeral. In fact, he was a pallbearer, and he really struggled with it, which makes sense.
Yeah, you know, men, we don't recover well from women dying. There was a woman, she wasn't even my girlfriend. We were sleeping together. You know, she was older than me at the time. I was like 19. She was in her 20s. And she had developed like a cancer, and she just died. And she had a daughter and everything. And I still think about her. Her name was Victoria. And like when you hear about a woman, even if she's not your wife or girlfriend, just a woman that you were close with or seeing, when they die, men, it's really hard on us, women dying. So imagine your wife or your girlfriend, you guys were together and they pass. It's rough. And I do remember when this happened to Jim Carrey, people were saying that she was sacrificed for him and his success. I'll be honest, it seems like, you know, the last role Jim Carrey played was a role of a lifetime. That was because that was going to be his last role. They weren't going to let him talk anymore about the role he was playing. Allegedly, he was playing the role of Joe Biden in the last couple of appearances that Biden made when he did his speeches, when he fell running up the stairs. They said that was Jim Carrey playing Biden. And they could not afford for him to get drunk and have a guilt trip one night and talk about it with his friends and divulge this information. So they got rid of him. Let's finish more. We're going to get more into that. Just give me a second. Oh, and do me a favor. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the video. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for all being here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening today. We're going to get on these other topics, but for now. This Jim Carrey thing keeps coming up. People sent it to me all yesterday. I just wanted to look into it more because this was one of my favorite actors ever. If we are going to determine if this is the real Jim Carrey or not, there's only one man we can ask. And that's his only known best friend, Mr. Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson's going to need to go sit down with him, spend time with him, and Tommy will let us know if this is Jim Carrey or not. The guy that he was on A Living Color with all those years ago. There's no other close friends that Jim Carrey's known to have.
Husband and her mother even sued Jim Carrey in a series of lawsuits that were eventually brought. However, many people think that her passing was not of her own doing. Many people think something actually happened to her, and part of it was because Jim Carrey was speaking way too much truth. This takes us to present day. He looks nothing like him. Nothing. In fact, if he were aging, he wouldn't be getting puffy. He would be getting more gaunt. Why would the man who talked about letting go of your ego suddenly be vain and be injecting himself full of things? Why did he change his eye color? Because of the times he did try to speak up and did try to speak truth, including the things that you get in your arm and whether or not they are or aren't a good thing. A lot of people think that he has been replaced or something has happened to him. But now things like this can't be hidden. What is in the dark must come out into the light. And now there are too many of us that are hip to what's going on. We have actual confirmation in the files that these things are possible. And now we can't unsee it. So when we see what's going on with Jim, we immediately think, is that him? Or is there something else even going on that's worse? What do you guys think?
It's a shame, but I think Jim Carrey's gone. I think we lost Jim Carrey. And this is what happens in situations like this.
I don't exist. Yeah.
Even with all the fillers in the world, that's not going to completely change who you are. Now, we are obviously in the day and age where it's now going public due to the Epstein files that body doubles are a real common thing, not just for presidents, but for a lot of people with money, people who are celebrities. It's absolutely necessary because, well, people die abruptly a lot. And what happens to all of their influence? What happens to all of their money? What happens to everything about them? It just goes to waste. Your money gets sent to the state. Then it goes to an estate sale. Some of it's divided up between your family. The government taxes the hell out of you. And all your influence dies with you. But if they can get someone to impersonate you, a close lookalike, well, then that person can still have access to your funds. They can still have access to your Twitter. They can still influence you and they can keep you going. The truth of the matter is the Clintons have both been dead for over 10 years. But they keep using lookalikes and they keep bringing them back because they are worth a lot of money. And that money gets divided up and sent away, and you're not able to access it if they are declared dead. I remember when Hillary Clinton had that seizure and her security had to pick her up and put her into a van. They said she died that day. Bill Clinton, you got to think about it, these people are extremely old. There's no way that they're still walking up and doing press conferences like they're 30, 40 years old. That's not the case. But that's the reason why they use lookalikes. The woman that's in jail is not Ghislaine Maxwell. That's not her. And in the video of the woman they bumped into in Quebec looks identical to her. We know Epstein's not dead. They swapped his body out. They're actually doing a autopsy, and they're saying, wait a minute, this person had a prostate, the other person, or this person had an appendix or something, but the other one doesn't. So obviously it's a different person that they had playing this part. And no one's going to call it out publicly, but we, the people, as in the public, we understand that this is what's happening. And now they're doing it right in front of us. The man's eye color has changed, and this is not just contacts. The man's voice has changed. His personality is different. We were watching his mannerisms. We were watching his movements. We're looking at him we've known Jim Carrey since 1991. We know Jim Carrey. Everyone knows Jim Carrey. We've studied him. We've watched him age. We remember when he cut his hair off and grew the beard like David Letterman. We remember him in Ace Ventura. We knew him on like I said, in what do you call it, in Living Color and The Mask, and we knew him in Bruce Almighty, and famously we knew him in The Truman Show. He's always been speaking out, but I think they finally we think that he's finally gone, and this replacement is only temporary. They're not going to flaunt him around in public many more times. This was just that one time to solidify this is what he looks like now, so the people aren't suspecting that something happened to him. But I mean, should we say rest in peace? Should we mourn Jim Carrey that he's gone? And I think this would probably be a good time to do so. It's not the same person.
People are starting to be genuinely convinced that Jim Carrey was cloned. Yeah, I am not kidding. So
I wouldn't even say clone. You don't have to clone him. You can just find a lookalike from some obscure part of the country, do a makeover. Everyone has a copy of you somewhere. Like my brain, the way it works, I can look at you and I can tell you who you look like. And it's like a cool trick I can do at parties. It's like this parlor trick. It's like this thing. You can find someone that has enough of his features that he could pass for it. Or say you find someone that looks kind of like him, and then you do face fillers on him. And they're like, well, it looks like Jim. Did he get some work done? And they're saying, that's what it is. That's why he looks like him, but he doesn't. He had some work done. He's got fillers. But everyone knew Jim Carrey would not do that. And this person seems like it was his first time in the spotlight. Jim Carrey started to hate and resent the spotlight. So it's not the same person.
anytime you probably have ever seen Jim Carrey, you've always seen him looking like this. And well, recently he was seen at an award show. And not only was he not acting like his normal self at all, he also does not look like his normal self, not one bit. People also notice that his eye color has completely changed. His eyes have always been brown. And well, the other day when he was at the award show, his eyes were actually light green. And I personally always never paid attention to these conspiracy theories saying, people were cloned and this and that. But I'm not going to lie. Something is definitely different when Jim Carrey, I don't know if he was cloned, but he is not acting like or looking like his normal self at all. He very well could likely be going through something behind the scenes or something like that. Obviously, we have no idea because that is his personal life, but definitely a very interesting situation. That is for sure. People are genuinely convinced that Jim Carrey has been cloned now. And I'm just really curious to know your thoughts about all of this.
It's not him.
Seriously ride a bike? I do ride a bike, and I get out so early sometimes. I walk or I ride a bike, and I get out so early that I'm sometimes it's just me and the homeless people in Beverly Hills. And that's it. The other day I walked, this guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, you're Jim Carrey, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "You got a new movie coming out, I heard." And I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Well, enjoy it, because the world's going to end in 2026.
2026.
Try to get your kicks."
Yeah.
And we are only in 3 months in to 2026, the year of our Lord. What a weird prediction. And this is the year now that we're finding out that Jim Carrey is gone. If they've already went public with your fake persona, if they've already went public with your doppelganger that they're pretending to be you, then that means you're not coming back.
That guy in Paris isn't me at all. His face is smooth like a silicone doll, and he could never pull off my signature expressions. Those are things I've spent my whole life perfecting. I'm long tired of red carpets, awards, and all this glitzy nonsense. I never wanted to attend this kind of event, let alone...
Yeah, you can tell this new person, this is his first time on the red carpet. This is his first time in the limelight, and he's enjoying himself. Jim Carrey was over this. He could not stand the attention. He hated all the lights. He hated the glitz. He hated the fakeness of Hollywood and the media, the lies, the smears. He didn't want anything of it. He actually wanted to become a recluse and be a hermit and get away from it. But this guy, it's his first day. He's never got this attention before, and he's hoping he can keep this gig. The problem is He doesn't do the facial expressions. He can't. It's full of all that injectors, but it's not Jim Carrey. Also, he doesn't have the voice. So he doesn't have the sense of humor. He's not going to be able to pull it off long term. And he won't be able to go around any of the people that have known Jim Carrey for years. Again, the cast of A Living Color, Tommy Davidson, they're going to have to be the ones to go around Jim Carrey as the fake Jim Carrey. And they're going to have to be the ones to clear it up and tell us whether this is really him or not. Then no one else can do it.
Don't fly all the way to Paris to accept some so-called honor. All I want now is to live quietly and stay out of the spotlight. I have no idea where they found this impersonator to stand on stage for me and say all that weird stuff. Those French speeches, those statements, none of that is what I would say or how I would say it. My face is marked by years of life and time. There's no way I'd look like that. Not to mention his facial muscles. He can't even do my signature raised eyebrow or my big, exaggerated smile. He's stiff and has no soul. I've just been busy with my own stuff these past couple of days and didn't have time to deal with this whole setup.
I'm not the only one who actually picked up on this. I'm not the only one reporting on this. It's near and dear because I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan. Love the guy. And now he's gone and there's someone pretending to be him. I see celebrities and there's somebody, and depending on how much money they have, there's so many different people that are pretending to be people that have already been dead for a while. But they have to because you still want to be able to get access to their money. You just have to pretend to be them. And then whoever's, giving you this role, I'm sure they're going to be in control of the finances. You're going to benefit from it heavily, but eventually they're going to pull the plug on you too, because they can't have you exposing anything. They couldn't have Jim Carrey exposing anything. So it's not going to be a role you're going to be playing for long. This is going to be a short-lived and temporary gig.
I don't exist.
Dead.
Yeah. Poor Jim. Poor Jim. He's gone. And I just have to accept it. We don't know if it's foul play. It could have been anything. The point is, when people with a lot of money pass away, think about it. People do it when their mother, who's getting a Social Security check, they'll put their mom in a freezer and keep getting the check for years after she's dead until somebody, blows the whistle or somebody files a complaint or they do a random welfare check. And then they find out that your parent was been in a freezer for years and you've been just collecting that check every single month. So imagine when you're a multi-millionaire, you have millions of followers on the internet, you're influential. It's better that they pretend to be you rather than let you just die. That's why when you see certain people, they're like, yeah, like the Clintons are famous for this. Look how old they are, yet they're still showing up and talking and walking, and they're just, yeah, fucking right. These people are in their 80s, coming up on their 90s. They're not just agile and just limber and just all over the place and just healthy as hell. No, these are replacements. These are actors. All you have to do is just find someone that kind of looks like them. You can do a makeover. And if you do the facial Botox enhancements, when people are kind of on the fence, if it looks like you or not, they can always just blame it on you had some work done. But guess what? When the bank contacts you, you can still wire and transfer money. It's better you do it and you pretend to be them and take their money than it just gets turned over to the state and then the IRS divides it up. I mean, it's better you than them, but you still want their influence and you still want their access. So that's why they have to replace people. They don't just let you rest in peace and just die. As far as I'm concerned, by the looks of it, that's not Jim Carrey. So that means that the real Jim Carrey is gone. Until Tommy Davidson says, yeah, I went and sat down with him. That's my friend. He just has some work done. Until then, in my opinion, we got to say goodnight to Jim Carrey. He was an amazing actor. He was a philanthropist. He was a hero, but he was a man. He was a comedian, but it was more to him. He gave us classic movies and he did want to speak out. But if there was a untimely demise of Jim Carrey, I would believe it would be connected to this. Take a listen.
Carrey play Joe Biden part of the time. And I'm not talking Saturday Night Live, I'm talking real life. At the end of this video, I think if you don't think so right now, there might be a little part, at least a little part of you that just might agree with me. Let's start with this. We all know he's a physical comedian. Just watch this.
You're seeing much more physical humor in my show.
He was a very, very physical actor. He was a very physical actor.
You get the idea. He falls a lot. He falls a lot through comedy. Did you ever notice who else falls a lot? They kind of look like in fact, that might even look a little bit more like Jim Carrey than Jim Carrey looks like Jim Carrey in this. That's Joe Biden. I'll show you. Like Jim Carrey to me. That's supposed to be Biden getting off the helicopter. They even have similar walks and forward head postures. You see it? I see it. Similar length arms in comparison to their knees. And we know how Hollywood likes to put things in plain sight.
You know, and it's crazy. Jim Carrey was impersonating Joe Biden on Saturday Night Live, and then he just abruptly he announced that he's no longer going to do the impression. And that was like in 2019. He just said he's dropping the act. And no one knows what he did subsequently after that. He just said he's not doing it no more.
Also know they do a ton of predictive programming. This Simpsons is 15 years before this, even to the sign falling down. Predictive programming. See it? I saw one thing at first. Watch the timing of his hand. His hands. Right. See it? Watch. I sync it up here. Ready? There it is. Watch. Go. Hands. Up at the same time. The hands at the same time. That's Jim Carrey. That is Jim Carrey. I'm going to show you more. Okay, here it is, the full clip. You'll see he salutes and he puts his hand up twice, just like we saw in the movie Bruce Almighty with Jim.
Now, an 80-something-year-old man is not going to fall upstairs and then be able to rebound and stand up on his own without an assistant, and especially not a man as feeble as Biden was when we would see him on his own. Let's take a look.
Carrey, and then tell me this isn't Jim Carrey's comedic falling. There's no way Joe Biden is just quick on his feet and moves, and watch how he does this little jog. The salute at the end here. It is Jim Carrey. And I'm going to show you more stuff.
Maybe Jim Carrey doing these falls on purpose is why they said, you know what, he's not really a team player. He's not going to play ball for long, and we really don't need him anymore. Maybe that's why they felt that it was time to put him out the pasture and replace him. Because if he's doing these falls, knowing that eventually someone somewhere is going to pick up on it and make the connection and say, hey, doesn't Jim do that too? Didn't he used to impersonate him? And again, this is a huge secret. I mean, this is national security type secrets, and this would be an extremely large loose end to leave untied.
Did you ever see this clip where it looks like Biden's wearing a mask? Again, truth in plain sight. We all know that he did the movie The Mask. Could they have been trying to tell us something? I think so. literally the first time I ever saw that clip of Biden going up the stairs, I thought to myself, before I was even a truther, wow, he looks just like Jim Carrey going up there. And then I looked into it, and it just kept coming and coming and coming. You decide. What do you think? Let me know.
I mean, I've made my decision. They replaced Jim Carrey. They had to. That's not him. That's not him. So as of now, I'm mourning him. I'm not planning on seeing him again. If I see the fake one on the TV, I'll be shocked, but I don't see them parading him around much longer either. I don't think that's his role. There won't be any new Jim Carrey movies coming out or anything else. I think that's pretty much the last we're going to see of one of our favorite American comedians. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you guys for leaving comments. And do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. It's a sad day that we have to realize we lost another good man, a good patriot, a good American. Anyway, I'll be back on with another subject in about 20 minutes. And remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.